Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1591. It is a Monday. Man, I am beat. It was a long weekend. The hotel shows are supposed to be that's like supposed to be the break from the big show at the Alliant, and it was not the case. Although Sunday was relaxing. Sunday was boring. I wish Saturday was a little more boring. Saturday was a little stressful. Saturday was stressful. Friday was stressful. Sunday was like, I just sat and watched football most of the day at the Madison Pokémon show. But it was a packed house. The energy, the attendance, absolutely wild. The difference in attendance between the sports show on Saturday and the Pokémon show on Sunday is insane. Possibly more than double the attendance at the Pokemon only show. Just absolutely crazy. 3:00 on a Sunday, in NFL Sunday. I think every vendor was still, maybe one vendor packed up before 3. But like on Sunday, shit. On Saturday, sports dealers are packing up at noon, whether there's a full room or not. It's like, I got other shit to do. I'm going. Pokemon, man, 3:00 on an NFL Sunday. Every vendor's still there, still set up, still crowds of people. It's like, come on, I want to go home. The Bears game kicks off soon. So it's crazy. It's crazy. So we're going to talk about the Madison Card Show weekend. I did a lot of buying on Saturday. Didn't do any, but actually, I take that back. I did do some buying yesterday. One of my dealers had a mega buy. I was so bored. I'm like, God, I wonder if anybody has like something that I can rip. I need something to do. I think I took like 3 walks, maybe 4 walks around the hotel just to get some fresh air, move around yesterday during the Pokemon show. But I did buy a mega box of Donruss Elite. It was a waste of money, as wax usually is. But it passed some time as I was watching the Lions game. So yeah, it was a good show weekend. Very stressful. Oh yeah, I think I found out about the mezzanine on Thursday afternoon. So I think I did talk about that Friday morning, which is really frustrating. With the amount of work that I have to put into the hotel show, which it shouldn't be this way, and just the changes, the lack of communication, it's been a pain. So I don't know how much longer I'll do shows at the hotel. We will do the November show, and I was pretty emotional. My emotions were running high on Saturday, but I've slept on it 2 nights now, and I'm still coming to the same conclusion. My wife even said, she's like, I think it's time. So the next show, the next Madison Card Show will be the joint one-day show, Saturday, October 25th, over at the Alliant Energy Center, 250 plus tables at the Alliant, October 25th. Saturday, Sunday, November, Thanksgiving weekend. Saturday, Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend. That'll be the 2-day show at the hotel. December, last Saturday in December, will be the 1-day show at the Alliant. January, February, contract isn't signed, but January, February, I've got the contract, I've got the date set. January, February will also be at the Alliant Energy Center. So that's where we're rolling. I'm considering not doing a show in March because I'm going to be gone almost 2 weeks in Arizona. I'm going to spend 2 days at the Chicago Spectacular. There's no dates available at the Alliant in March. And right now it's too much work. It's not enough. It's not enough money and too much work with lack of communication. It's the day before the show and I've got to tell 15 dealers, hey, the spot you've been setting up at for 3 years is no longer available. You're going to be set in a side room. Max, how would you like that if Friday I send you a message and be like, hey man, you can't be at your tables anymore. I got to move you to a random room downstairs. Like, and I had to tell 15 dealers that. So I'm gonna work the dealers that have been with me the longest into the room. I've already got a couple set, so it's just a massive pain in the ass. And I don't want to deal with the headaches anymore. I had dealers bitching about the lighting, bitching about the construction, the elevators being out. And I know it's frustrating, but I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. And like, there's some things that I can help. Wi-Fi, I can assist with to an extent. I know the elevators are down. We all know that. We all know that one of the parking lots is closed for construction. We all know that one of the entrances was closed. It's a fucking pain in the ass. I get it. What am I going to do? I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about the lighting. Bring a fucking flashlight. I don't know. So I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of all the bullshit. I'm tired of the lack of communication. I'm tired of all the work that I put in, the physical work that I put in. And the reward isn't there. The money, the what I pay and what I make is just not worth all of the headaches. So I get it, but it's just one of those things. So remains to be seen. Maybe I'll cool off. Maybe things change. I doubt it. But November could be the last hotel show. We'll see. But Max, it's not about hiring. I mean, I could hire somebody to, all right, you want a bitch? Oh, go talk to them. Like what? Like I still have to deal with moving tables around. I still have to deal with all that bullshit. So, and if I hire somebody, then it makes it even less worth it. I don't have to deal with some of the headaches, but I'm making less money and I'm probably spending just as much time. Maybe not the physical labor. I don't know. So there we go. I mean, ideally, the Alliant would be the Alliant would be a monthly or near monthly show. That's kind of what I would like to do. I've got to get with them to see what dates they have the rest of 2026, because the thing is, and as I say, no, I'm not going to do a hotel show. If the Alliance like, well, we don't have dates in March, April, or May, I'm not going to go 3 months without a show. Like, well, I'll just suck it up and deal with it. But if I can get 8-9 months out of the year at the Alliant, that's what we're going to do. So, it all remains to be seen. So nothing is official with the exception of October through February is all locked in. So October, Alliant, November, 2 days at the hotel, December at the Alliant, January at the Alliant, February at the Alliant. So Saturday was a bitch. Saturday was the most frustrating show I've ever done. Most frustrating show I've ever done. And I just wanted to most frustrating. Friday, Saturday was super frustrating. Sunday was great. I have no issue. Pokemon dealers are like the easiest to deal with. I only had one no-show. I had more no-shows at Saturday, less dealers Saturday than Sunday, and more no-shows. More bitching on Saturday. Nobody bitched about the lighting. Nobody bitched about the construction. Nobody bitched about the door not being open on the side. Nobody bitched on Sunday. I want that. I want that. It was almost too easy yesterday. It was too easy. Knock on wood. So Saturday was the opposite. Saturday was the exact opposite. So yeah. So we'll see. I bought a lot. I posted a photo on Twitter of all my goodies. I bought a little bit of everything. I bought some high end. I didn't buy much low end. I did go through quarter box. The only quarter boxes I went through were wrestling. So I don't know if Zach and Porter are in here, but Zach and Porter were at the Madison Card Show on Saturday. So when Jeff came in, I'm like, hey, do you have wrestling? Because he's always got like oddball. He's got non-sports, oddball, like, and it's unique. It's like stuff that you never see at shows. I'm like, you got wrestling? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I think I got a shoebox, a 3-row shoebox. I'm like, okay. So I went through and I picked up a nice pile, like, especially like, and a lot of oddball, like, I don't think I have them. Well, there might be some in this stuff. Maybe not. But like the stickers, these were not in the quarter box. These were, I think, dollar cards. Magnificent Morocco sticker from 85. A Stacy Keibler silver prism. This is an early Stacy Keibler card from WWE. But then in the quarter box, there was like Hostess, like WrestleMania 4 Hostess things. I don't know if they came in Twinkie boxes or what they did, but I'd never seen those before. So I picked up all of those. There was some WCW magazine from like the early 90s. I picked those out. What else was there? There was some WWF Merlin. So a lot of like random oddball. A lot of oddball stuff on out of those boxes. So that was like the only quarter boxes I went through. Then I bought another, like, I'd say it's a partial collection of wrestling. Same dealer that I bought from in Janesville last Sunday. But it was just kind of leftover stuff. A lot cheaper, like a fifth of the price. A couple slabs, picked up an Alexa Bliss rookie, and some good stuff in like the boxes. It was 3 more of these boxes that you see, these WWE boxes. It was 3 more of these boxes, with a few autos, some relics, some nice color, like of big names, current big names. So I'll share a little bit more about what I bought. Bought a lot of slabs. Bought a lot of like dollar cards, a lot of football, focused on football. Although I did pick up some baseball too. I ran a lot of it last night on eBay Live. We'll talk about that as well. Let's go say hello to the chat. Orlando is here because I know there's going to be some chats about the card show and it's going to get me riled up again. So before I really go into my card show pickups and then go back into get my emotions running high again. Orlando, good morning. East Coast Tom in the house. Good morning. Jordan is here. Good morning. Orlando says, last show I attended was 70% Pokemon and was packed with people spending money. It's wild. It is absolutely wild. Jordan says, good to rest. Kevin says, good morning from Lakeland, Florida. What's happening? Good morning, Unicorn Cupcake. Cooter's in the house. Good morning. Have you settled on a Madison Card Show tattoo design? Not yet. Still working on it. Max wants the show to stay at the hotel. Jordan says, I'm with Max. Gem City says, good morning. What a wild and great weekend of card shows. How was the Gem City card show? I think yours was on Saturday. How did that go? Bargain Boxer says, Romeoville card show was 90% Pokemon. Gross. Bargain Boxer says, the Rockford card show was canceled. Awesome. Which Rockford show was canceled? Jordan says, charge more to dealers. That's going to happen in 2026. Table prices will be going up in 2026. Max says, you need to hire someone. Dealers. Max is right. Gary, what's going on? Good morning. For those playing at home last night, Scorigami hit. Yes. I fucking hate NFL ties. Why? We should not have regular season ties. We should not have ties in NFL games. Jordan says, Max, time to set up. You need to partner with Bo. See, and I'm also, I think Max mentioned it in the chat down here somewhere. I thought I saw it, but I don't want a partner. I want an assistant. Tom's my assistant at the Alliance shows. I need like a customer, like direct all your complaints to my assistant, and they can, because I'm shitty at customer service. Like I'm just gonna like bitch. I'm just gonna give it right back to you. If you're gonna bitch, I'm gonna bitch right back. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Go complain to somebody else. Orlando says PSA is grading more Pokemon cards than sports cards now. I was wondering if that was the case. Somebody asked me about that. I don't know if it was this weekend or if it was at Rosh Hashanah last week. I can't remember. But I was talking about PSA and PSA coming out to the show. And they're like, well, does that, it might've been my wife asking me, like, do they even do Pokemon? I'm like, oh yeah, I think they might be getting close to doing more Pokemon than sports. Gem City says things change and evolve. That's why we call it hobby evolution. I guess is the only consistent thing in the hobby. Amen to that. Amen to that. Max says then you don't have to deal with the bullshit of half the stuff you complain about. That's true. Tom says I know someone who doesn't want to do shows anymore and would make himself available for that. There you go. We can talk. Direct all your complaints to East Coast Tom. Cooter says you are running a business, not a charity. Do what you need to do for you. Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like if I bent over and did, well, Max wants to keep him at the hotel. Tom wants to keep him at the hotel. This person wants to be in that spot and that person wants to be at that spot. I want my tables for $20. It's like, shit, I'd be living in a van down by the river. Unicorn says, would you be mad if I took over the hotel show and called it the 1 million card show? I would be annoyed. Would I be mad? Yeah, I'd be annoyed. Yeah. C4 Collectibles, what's up? If there was just one thing you would change regarding your live selling experience thus far, what would it be that I'm currently doing that I need to change? One thing you would change regarding your live selling experience, what would it be? That's a great question. Well, this is easy. Being more, having my schedule planned out more. I think that's one thing that I don't know if it necessarily holds me back because there's enough push notifications, but I think maybe people like perusing the schedule at least a week. I think scheduling things out a month in advance is a little bit overkill, especially when it comes to live selling. Live selling is a very like in the moment type of experience. But I still think a week, like having your whole week planned out, I think it would help me. Instead of just, but I think it would also help, some people, I didn't know you were going live. Well, if you go to 1millioncubs.com, it's the number one, then you can see my upcoming schedule. Because right now I only have tomorrow night's wrestling show scheduled. Nothing today, tomorrow night wrestling. I think that's the biggest pain point, I think, is just my planning, which I'm not a planner to begin with. So it's not exactly, but I think that would be it. I've often thought, I've gone back and forth on the adding an item like the Undertaker auto. I added that like a week in advance, hoping like this will draw people in. They're gonna come to the show. I think it did help. I think that does help. And I say that because on wrestling night, I had somebody that I think was new to eBay and they bought something that was preloaded. And they sent me a message like, hey, I didn't even know eBay Live existed. This is my first purchase and this is my first eBay Live experience. So that's awesome. So maybe I could do, and again, that's with planning as well. And it's like, what am I going to run? Where it's usually just like, we're just going to run random shit today. And that's usually what I do. I like doing the wrestling because it's something new to me. I'm having fun with it. By the way, Gem City, I think you sent me a message this morning. I bought a wrestling ring. I forgot I was going through and I'm like, we did the eBay Live last night and we were talking about, I think somebody said, create a 3D printed wrestling ring. And I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. And I'm like, wait, why don't I just buy a wrestling ring? The toy wrestling rings. Take what just remove my photo box. Because I think it's probably too big to put in there. Remove one of the rings and put the couch in the wrestling ring, and then have some figures on the side. So I found a new in-box wrestling ring. I wanted just a used one. I wanted one of the old school ones, but I wanted an apron that said WWE or WWF. The old school one only has it on the mat itself. It doesn't have, it has like cameramen on the side, on the aprons, on the ring aprons. So I want something that said like WWE on the side so people can see it. So I did buy that this morning. I used my it's like Synergy. I used my eBay gift card, that I got from eBay for doing a survey, for doing a Zoom call with them. So that spent half of that on a wrestling ring. I did buy a couple figures. I love Doink the Clown, so I bought a Doink the Clown figure, and I think I bought was it Hogan? Maybe it was Dude Love. I don't know. I bought another one. I wanted some, or maybe it was Kamala. I can't remember. I think I bought a couple action figures to put that up. So hopefully next week, and I probably will do. I'd like to keep it at like once a week. Maybe we'll see. I'd like to build this as like a thing on eBay Live. Like, I want to be the wrestling guy. Nobody's specializing in wrestling on eBay Live. If I can be the wrestling guy, and then I can, scale that. Who would have thought, like 2 weeks ago, who would have thought I'm going to be the wrestling guy on eBay Live? So we're going to do a wrestling night tomorrow night, 7:00 Central. And then hopefully next week I'll have the ring. I just bought it this morning, so probably won't get delivered for a week or so. But there you go. So back to the question. One thing I would change, I would be better planned. I would be better planned on scheduling my events. Because right now I'm only scheduling like a day in advance. Usually I know I'm going to go live on Sunday nights. That's a given. But other than that, it's just kind of a toss up. It's like, oh, I don't have anything to ship. I'm just going to go live right now. Max says, Jordan, hard pass. Me partnering with anybody is a no-go. And Max and I are on the same line of thinking. I don't want to partner with anybody, like business partner wise. I would not want to, like, I do things the way I want to do. And it's like, again, I'll listen. If you have a complaint, I'm going to listen. It doesn't mean I'm going to snap back and be like, how the fuck am I supposed to fix the construction outside? Sorry, Craig. Craig goes, hey, there's been some people complaining about the construction. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? He's like, well, you said you always want. And I'm like, well, if there's road construction on the interstate, like, you just deal with it. Like, there's nothing we can do. None of us can do anything about this. Like, I understand. Thank you. I appreciate it. But there's nothing I can do. But partnering with people, like, I want to do things. I don't even know where that came from. I want to do things my way. I want to run the show my way. Oh, I'll listen to suggestions, but it doesn't necessarily mean like I'm going to agree with it. And when you partner, you have to like share that. And like, you have to, like, when you're in a business partnership, sometimes you got to take one for the team, and you got to do what your partner wants to do, even though you don't want to do it. I kind of like having the freedom of running my own business the way I want to run the business. I like that. Tracy, good morning. Jordan says, Maxwell. Is he saying Maxwell or Maxwell? No gatekeepers with Pokemon. Bargain Boxer says, I may stop going to shows every weekend since Pokemon is going crazy. The second Rockford show was 50% Poke. A lot of shows. That's where, tell your sports card dealer friends to start setting up at card shows, because there's a lack of, and I don't feel bad I do feel bad because I'm also a sports card buyer only. But at the same time, where are the sports card dealers? Because I can't fill 100 tables of sports card dealers, but I can fill 200 plus Pokemon. I want the Saturday show, with the exception of Max and Cardboard Bros and my hallway guys. I don't want any additional Pokemon dealers on Saturday. There's an entire Sunday Pokemon show devoted to it. I want Saturday to be primarily sports with Pokemon. Pokemon helped build the show to what it is. So I don't want to punish that and be like, nope, sorry, it's sports only today. And then you'd really see, like, where's the crowd? Well, come out tomorrow. But where's the sports card dealers? Where are they? Because they're not setting up at card shows. And don't blame promoters, because promoters are looking for sports card dealers. Don't blame the promoters. Peter, happy Monday. Jordan says, yeah, it sounds like you need to charge more. Gem City says, I'm in the minority. My show was mostly sports with a good section of non-sports, which is surprising. Bargain Boxer says, charging more and people will bitch more. I'm okay. I mean, it's annoying listening to people bitch about, I got to pay for parking. At least you can find a parking spot at the Alliant Energy Center. Yeah, you got to pay for it, but hey, at least it's there. You don't have to walk a mile. And I guess I can take that better because that's in my control. Like, that's my decision. Like, you can complain to me and I'll tell you, well, it's expensive to run a fucking card show. The construction, what do you want me to do about it? What? I'm sorry the entrance is closed. I'm sorry the elevator is broke. I'm sorry the ATM is out. Like, what am I supposed to do? $5. Now, parking I cannot handle unless I paid for it. I'm not paying for your parking. Well, I'm paying for vendor parking, but not paying for everybody's parking. $5 admission, that's my decision. And it seems to be working so far. People are still coming out. C4 Collectibles says, yeah, but how much more would you need to be charged to deal with that headache? Hard to put a dollar figure on piece. It is. Absolutely. Jordan says, bargain boxers or start buying Pokemon. Unicorn says, I am really into vintage non-sports lately. Tracy says, I don't get Pokemon, but to each his own. I just stay away from it. That's what I've had so many people say. Well, there's money in Pokemon. I know, but there's money in everything. You can sell anything. Anything. You can probably go in your backyard and scoop poop and sell that to somebody for fertilizer. I don't want to pick up shit and sell poop. You can sell anything. I don't want to sell Pokemon. Deal with it. I don't want to buy Bitcoin. I don't want to play skill games. I don't gamble on sports. Well, you can make money on it. No shit. You can make money doing anything. And I choose to make it getting complaints about hotel construction and elevators being down and lighting. That's how I choose to make my money. Bargain Boxer says, never say never, but never buy Pokemon. I'm saying I'm not into Pokemon. I don't want to sell Pokemon. Now, if something falls into my lap, yeah. And I'll just say, hey, Max. Oh, Max, by the way, speaking of that, my buddy Steve sent me a text. He wants to get a hold of you. He wants to sell a bunch of Pokemon. He doesn't know anything about it. Let me see. What's the best? I don't think he has Facebook. What's the best way I can connect you to? He says, I was going to ask you when I saw you next, who's your best Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh dealer that I can sell some cards to? My nephew's getting rid of all of his cards. I'm trying to sell them for him. So I gave him your name. He wants to know how to get it contact. He's also a Cubs fan. Cubs fan in Wisconsin. What the hell is on my desk? So let me know if email, text, whatever. His name's Steve. Good guy. I've been dealing with him. He's the one that I bought his entire childhood collection back in, 2017, 2018. And we've done a lot of deals since. Great guy. Where we at? Max says, Sunday is great. Saturday also was great. But the attitude and vibes, I hate this word, was 100% more positive on Sunday. 100% agree. Sunday was so positive, so energetic. Saturday, nope, not there. People were bitching about everything. No place to park. The door's not open. The elevator's broke. The lighting sucks. I didn't have any of those complaints. Not a single complaint on Sunday. Not a single complaint. The lighting, I had a dealer leave on Saturday because the lighting's bad and people are walking away. And he decides to text me after he left when I had 6 open tables that he could have moved to that had better lighting. That's the bullshit I have to deal with. And I'm sick and tired of it. I don't want to deal with those people. If I don't want to deal, unfortunately, I'm in a place where I don't have to because next guy up. There's going to be a next guy up that's been on the waiting list. Boom, you're in. Because I don't want to deal with bullshit like that. And I didn't have to deal with any of that bullshit on Sunday. Not a single incident on Sunday. Whether it be complaints. Now, were there some I had one issue where it was completely 100% my fault. Completely 100, and I take complete fault. It was, and I have an excuse. It's not a good one. But the changes that I had to deal with on Friday threw me for a loop. I was supposed to be putting dealers in the same spots, and I only got halfway through it, and then I had to all of a sudden change everything up, and I just completely ignored the old maps because I needed to get it done, and I didn't have enough time. And that's where an assistant would have been helpful. So that's completely my fault. And shit like that happens, and deal with it. They were upset. They were good. We talked it out. I said, next show here in November, you'll be back in your spot, in the old spot. So, and that's it. And that was my fault. Like, that was completely my fault. That's not lights. That's not doors. That's not elevators, ATMs, parking, whatever. Slow sales. So Sunday was great. I wish my sports shows were as easy as my Pokemon shows. Max says another thing. It's sad. Gem City says, I really like the Merlin stuff. Great card stock. Yeah, I like it. And it's not, you don't see it as much. Tracy says, I wouldn't know what to do with myself with a monthly show, much less shows every week around here. 2 shows a year now, and I'm happy to get that. There were seven card shows yesterday, Sunday alone, in the state of Wisconsin. 7 card shows in the state of Wisconsin on Sunday alone. And I don't know how many shows on Saturday. There was a show in Rockford on Saturday. There was a show, I think, in Waukesha, maybe. 7 shows on Sunday in Wisconsin. And from here in Madison, even from like the border, it probably 3 hours. If you're at the border of Illinois, 3.5 hours, probably the longest drive. From Madison, probably 2 hours between those shows. The furthest would probably be Green Bay. I think there was a show in the Dells yesterday. There was a show in Rapids. I think Rapids is 2 hours, isn't it, Max? Where Max is at. So I think that's about 2 hours. So 7 shows in the state of Wisconsin on Sunday. That doesn't even count Saturday shows here. Bargain Boxer says, speaking of Merlin, how come we never hear from the great curator anymore? Who's the great curator? Max says, I was moved for a weekend for the record. Still did about the same numbers because I took care of people coming to meet myself. Shit happens. That's what you're paid to run the show for, unfortunately. It is. Absolutely. 100%. I agree. The problem is when shit like that happens on a monthly basis, it's annoying as hell. And I don't want to deal with that. Let's see. Unicorn says he probably ate the bag. Jordan says C4 collectibles, not really. Let's say, what is on my desk? Not really. Let's say Bo makes $500 a show. Now for $1K or a little more, he might be able to deal with it. Yeah, there's a price. It just kind of depends. Like what's the headache worth? What's the headache worth? When I increased the table count at the hotel to 200 tables, it put more work, and it was probably $300 more in my pocket total for a lot more work and a lot more people to deal with, and mapping it out. IBEW was canceled. No, it wasn't canceled. They just moved it. They didn't cancel. There was a show in Rockford on Saturday. It wasn't at IBEW. It was at Rockford Christian, the school. C4 says, I don't know, man. I guess it depends on how bad that headache is. That is true. Because sometimes I have headaches every month. Like there's a headache every month. Most of them are, if they're limited, it's okay. Saturday, it was way more than I want to deal with. Sunday, I didn't have any headaches. And I had more dealers and more tables on Sunday. That's the difference between Pokemon and sports. I have more headaches with sports. Just is what it is. I love sports. I collect sports. I was bored as hell on Sunday. It was a lot easier. Gem City says the card show went well. Great crowd, busy from 9 to 2, and still people there the last hour. That's great. Love to see it. Unicorn says the question is, how can you attract some of the Pokemon buyers into sports, non-sports on Saturday? You can complain about Pokemon, but how can you get those folks' money? Sell supplies. There you go. Jordan says Assistant Max sounds good. Bargain Boxer says PSA is raising prices and slowing turnaround. Isn't it great? That's the old supply and demand. I mean, that's how you fix a bottleneck. Like, I know people complain about that, but it's kind of like moving to the Alliant Energy Center. People are bitching, oh, it's too crowded in here. There's no place to park. You need to move it across the street. And then you move it across the street, and it's like, well, I don't want to pay admission. I don't want to pay for parking. Well, you just want this. It comes with a cost. It comes with a cost. Too many people are submitting their cards. Guess what that means? PSA is too cheap. They've got to raise their prices. They got to slow their turnaround. They got to catch up. 100% on board with what they're doing. C4 says, I don't know Max, but he doesn't quite have assistant vibes to me. Max says, Jordan, the only thing I'd want less than a partnership is making money for someone else. Amen to that. Those days are over. Bargain Boxer says, I hear Probstein is starting his own selling site. Yep. Bid, BYD, I think is what it is. He was set up at the National. There was like nobody at the booth. Competition for eBay. It's not going to be it's going to be about as much competition as Loop or District. Is it another vertical? Absolutely. Is it gonna put a dent in eBay? No way in hell. Jordan says, here's an idea. If anyone has a complaint, have a $5 complaining box. There you go. There, I like that idea. I might raise it to $10 though, because I don't want to listen to it. I need more than 5. Make it a 10 or a 20. $5 for 20 seconds. $10 for 30 seconds. If you want a minute of my time, it's going to be $20 to complain. Gem City says, good deal. I'll stop printing. There you go. There you go. Cooter says 6 P's. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. If only that were the case for the hotel. I should send that to the hotel people. Although they're probably just the middlemen that it's coming from, it's coming from upper management. Like, oh, by the way, we're not going to have events in the mezzanine anymore. We've got an event this weekend that uses the mezzanine. Well, you get to tell them. Well said, Cooter. Wrestling themed shows. We need a luchador mask. I don't show myself. I was actually talking to Steve, who does sports card grading. He's on eBay Live, sports card grading. We were digging through boxes at a table on Saturday at the show. And we were talking about different things with eBay. And I'm like, one thing I've thought about is doing the dual cam. Now, I would have to figure out the technology because there's a third party, like, I don't know. It's not a streaming app. It's just an app. It's a cam app or something that breakers use. And that's what some of the keys are on the back end on our side are for. But I don't know if I want to deal with that. Mark, what's going on? Good morning. Orlando's in the house. Who would have guessed? I remember when Bo didn't even do auctions. I know, right? Now he's the live selling wrestling guy. How about that? How about that for an evolution? Auctions suck. I hate wrestling cards. I never hated wrestling. I love wrestling cards. I always have. Now, did I ever think I would go out and buy collections of wrestling and autographs and be specifically looking for wrestling cards and buying toys to be background gimmicks for my shows? Nope. We've evolved. There's nothing wrong with people being vocal. Oh, I get it. But there's a time and a place for it. Just listen and let it go in one ear and out the other. And I do need to do that. I just need to be like, okay. That's one thing that I need to improve on. Self-improvement is just letting it go in one ear and out the other. Listen to people complain and let it roll off my back and move on. Because I don't. I offer back my opinion. And here's why. Because I do get sick. And I think the reason I do this, well, it's just who I am. But I think a lot of the complaints I hear I hear often, you need to move across the street to the Alliant Energy Center. You need to, ooh, it's too small in here, blah, blah, blah. I hear that over and over and over and over again. It's expensive. It's a lot more expensive than the hotel. And so when I hear it, I get tired of hearing it. Well, here's why. Do you want to pay more for tables? Do you want to pay for parking? Do you want to pay admission? Because that's what it's going to take to move across the street. Now we're there. Now I get to hear it. I don't want to pay this. I don't want to pay that. Well, we're going to go back to the hotel and cram everybody in. Nobody's going to be able to walk anywhere. You're not going to be able to find a place to park. People are going to walk away. I had somebody say they're never coming back to the hotel show because it was too packed. They left and they're never coming back to the hotel show. Hopefully they come out to the Alliant. Unicorn says, when I had a card shop, a very trustworthy guy wanted to buy in 50-50. Even at 16, I knew better. Yeah, that's just... there was a collection that several locals looked at it. I know Bonsai looked at it. Cards from the Attic John. I think one or two other local buyers, collectors had looked at this collection. It was an awesome collection. However, it was bulk of middle end stuff. A lot of $20 to $100 cards. A lot of like 10 and under cards. There were really only, I think I counted 5 or 6 like above $200, $250. And I don't think there was anything over $500. Now, collectively, retail value, you're probably looking at $20,000 or possibly more, depending on how you piece it out. And pretty much everybody had said it's $5,000 to $10,000 is probably what for the entire collection, $5,000 to $10,000. So I didn't want to do this, but I didn't have the capital built up yet because it was very early in my business. And so I'm like, it's just too much for me. I'm going to pass. They still had it. I don't know if they followed back with me. I don't know. But John, I reached out to John. I'm like, hey, would you want to go and split with it? We could do a draft. And we went in, we put an offer, strong offer in $7,500. And they said, well, this is the best offer we've had. However, the problem with this collection was it was from a deceased father of one of the, I think the wife's father. And there were siblings involved. And the siblings are like, well, it's worth. And because they went to the various apps. I think they were using, I don't hear about this app anymore. It was like one of the first apps that people used for pricing cards. I can't remember what it was. But they were using that because this was probably 2020 or 2021. And it was during COVID. And they're like, well, look at how much all the, and there's so much more. It's worth X amount. It's like, no, it's really not. They were looking, it was the wrong price. It was the siblings didn't want to sell it for that. So I don't know. I'd love to go back. It's been 5 years. I'd love to like just circle back if I can find the email and be like, hey, I'm just curious. Did you ever move those cards? Jordan says, the reason I brought that up is we were going to go 50-50. We were going to split it up and do a draft. And it's like the market started to tank on some of that stuff like shortly after. And John and I had talked, and I'm like, I'm glad we didn't go in on that. It would have been difficult to split it out because we would have to put so much work into comping and make sure he's not getting ripped off. I'm not getting ripped off. It's an equal balance. It's like, that's just too much work. Now today I just be like, here's my offer. But at that point in time, I just quit my job. I had capital built up, but that was for like bills and shit, not for more. I had plenty of inventory even then. Jordan says, Bo, for the live shows, pre-list shows, tell people to save all shows. It works for a lot of live sellers. It helps with you more than you think. Yeah, and that's my number one thing that I think I can improve on is the scheduling. Unicorn says, eBay is cheaper more than not versus card shows. That sucks. Jordan says, I don't necessarily agree with this. Now, What I've found is I can get now what I'm like bargain box stuff. Obviously, card shows are the much better. Vintage pre-war, I can get way cheaper at card shows than I can on eBay because there's just not a lot of them on eBay. You know, I can get a T206 for 40 or 50 bucks at a card show, where on eBay it's going to be 150, and then, you know, scale up from there. So I see significantly lower prices on vintage pre-war at shows than I do on eBay. Jordan says, Gem City, I can actually make that happen. Bo, are you down? Down about what? Gem, what was Gem's comment? Oh, a luchador mask. I am not down. I am not down with that. Low roller. I saw one YouTube content from your Madison Card Show bought the entire table of Pokemon cards. Really? What? Who was the YouTuber? That's interesting. Unicorn says there is a Starbucks down Rimrock Road. It's a 2-minute walk. Buy something from them and walk to Alliant or Marriott. Well, people don't want to walk that far. That's another. Well, it's too far. That's what people complain about at the Sheraton. Jim City says, I think you could do a set weekly show of wrestling to start Tuesday Night Raw or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm not sure right now. It's just kind of, I'll likely do a weekly because I have so much and I bought so much more over the weekend. So I definitely have the inventory to run weekly shows. Just doing a set time remains to be seen. Maybe a Wednesday night wrestling show. I don't know. Bargain Boxer says, how come Sports Card Dud and Jeff Wilson putting out videos every day saying that sports card dealers are gone? Instead, they are pumping their cereal, PSA, and digital breaks. Low Roller says it's all about Pokemon now. Unicorns in the house. Good morning. Oh, we knew that. He's saying good morning to Low Roller. Peter says, can you please change the carpets in the ballrooms? No. Jordan, 8 months from now, Bo says, I'm killing the Pokemon game. Can't believe I didn't do this earlier. You never know. Unicorn says, I feel bad that I brought up how shitty the hotel elevator and upstairs was a couple months ago. It wouldn't stop me from coming to the show when I could. Low Roller says, people can sell their sealed Pokemon box, but it's not a good look. And if they're charging you full price, thanks, BS. That's BS. Mark says, I stopped by the Boca Raton show yesterday, and it was 70% Pokemon and packed. There were 2 vintage dealers with 200% comps, and they were probably complaining about the Pokemon dealers and complaining that they weren't making any sales, but they were 200% over comps. It's like, I love the dealers that don't make any money, and then it's like, well, this is why. You're 200% comps. Matt says, there are a lot of other awesome dealers at your show, so I truly appreciate the referral. You bet. Bargain Boxer says, Mark, I feel your pain. Unicorn says, because the Pokemon folks are making money, no need to complain. Bargain Boxer says, I'm complaining. Low Roller says, I have no clue on Pokemon cards. If you see sealed Pokemon box in the store, if you see Pokemon ETB for $50, they sell for $150. There you go. Unicorn Cupcake says, I really like that hat. Thank you. Bargain Boxer says, Bo raised a great point. Where are the sports card dealers? Shane's in the house. We're only 17 minutes behind. Shane says, you're ranting and raving in real time why these shows are becoming pokey shows. Yeah. This is why. Max says, you run one of the best shows in the Midwest. Don't let all this shit eat you up. Forget about it when you walk out of the hotel. I was able to do that Sunday, but Sunday was also a pleasant day. Saturday was not a pleasant day. I did not have fun. And I told, I don't know who all I think I probably told Tom. I did not have fun Saturday. Saturday was not fun. For the first time that I've ever promoted a show, I did not leave that show happy. I left it pissed off, annoyed, and frustrated. That's not why I promote a card show. That's not why I started running a card show. It was a happy place. And Saturday, it was not a happy place. It was Sunday, and it was Pokemon. Now, maybe I left relieved because the weekend was over. That could have been part of it. Like, oh, thank God. Shit, now I got to go sell cards on eBay Live. Low Roller says Bitcoin's going up again. Jordan says, Max, would you agree that Pokemon is just an easier process of selling cards? I only say that because I started selling them, and all I can say is the community is way easier to work with. And Jordan, I don't even sell Pokemon cards, and I agree with that. The energy is high. The positivity, the inclusiveness. You go into a Saturday sports card show, and it's just a bunch of white dudes. You go in on Sunday to the Pokemon show, and you've got every race. You've got women collectors. You've got kids. It's more inviting. Pokemon is more inviting than sports. It's happier. It's more energetic. It's positive. Max says only so many downtowns to go around, right? You got any eBay Live? You got any downtowns? No. I don't want to sell downtown. I don't want to pay 110% for a downtown at a show and sell it for 70 on eBay. Rockford IBEW was canceled. In what month? What show? Because the same promoters that run IBEW run the Rockford Christian show that was on Saturday. Unicorn says, Max has a good point. The hotel show drives your brand, and that might help expansion to the Alliant. And it has. And here we are. We're at the Alliant now. Gem City says, there you go. That's where your dealers are. Too many shows pulling dealers away. Maybe I'm not sure. Max says, Jordan, I consider myself an above average human when it comes to intelligence. There's a reason why I'm a Pokemon dealer. That is a bingo on why I do Pokemon. Chris says there were 2 shows on Saturday in Portland across the street from each other. Hey, it makes it easier on collectors and buyers. You don't have to drive all over town. Shane says sports card people have always been the most whiny, complaining bunch of entitled know-it-alls. That's never going to change. Low Roller says, I bought Destiny Rival ETB for $60 at GameStop. Now it's worth $120. If it reaches $300, I will be selling that Pokemon ETB. It's easy money and tax-free in Low Roller Scratcher's world. Unicorn wants to know why you're not paying taxes. IRS, Erwin R. Shyster is going to be looking for you. Bargain Boxer says people set up at shows to avoid paying taxes. Low Roller says sports people should be happy to you can find all the products you want. Unicorn says Jesus taught us to pay Caesar his due. Or is that Jesus and Kazar? Bargain Boxer says, I'm 100% on board with PSA 2. I don't grade. Gem City says, I get what PSA is doing. I don't like it, but I get it. Don't like it. Go elsewhere. Tom says, I'll take complaints for $5. Max says, is that the guy that sets up next to us usually on Saturday? OBS. Sets up on Saturday. I don't know what that question was about. Gem City says you need to use OBS. Oh, OBS. Yes. Open broadcast software. That's it. Oh, OBS. And that's what Max says. Yes. OBS is what it is. Yes. Thank you. If you go that route, I'm happy to lend a hand. Low Roller says Bo will be selling Pokemon cards. Hey, never say never. I don't plan on it, but I didn't plan on live selling and doing wrestling nights either. Chris says, my tactic of putting my initials on bargain boxes paid off. I avoided going through boxes that I went through. Also, it indicates how much new is being put out. However, Chris, you got to watch it because a lot of dealers reuse the boxes. And when there's room to put more cards, they put them in the front. So that's something. I was at a bargain box on Saturday at the show. And I think one row I started at the back. And it was just a bunch of old stuff. And then I started at the front. It's like, oh. And then I noticed the other row, there was a bunch of new top loaders in the back. In the middle was all old stuff. Like, it's like I'm pretty sure I saw this at last month's show. But the front and back, because when you reload, when you consolidate boxes, what do? In a bargain box, you just push cards forward or push cards back and put the new stuff in the front. So always check those front cards. Let's see. I did not pay ESPN Unlimited to watch the pay-per-views. I'm probably just going to be out because I'm going to keep Peacock, but although I guess there's sporting events on Peacock every once in a while. And I think Peacock's fairly cheap. ESPN is like $30. Unicorn says, when will you get $1 million? Unicorn Cupcake says those carpets. Cooter says, the current Pokemon market reminds me of the baseball card market circa 1984. This too shall pass. Everything is cyclical. Everything is cyclical. Gem City says, sell it now and buy the next ETB. Max says, the couple with all the supplies, weren't they there this weekend? Oh, yes, that's sports card grading. Yes. Steve and Sarah. They were not. He was there. He was Steve and his son Nick were at the show buying. But he'll be set up at the Alliant, and he'll be set up. He's going to set up in November again. So he didn't want to set up because he wanted to do buying, just because of kind of like the reason I don't set up at many shows anymore. In fact, I probably won't set up in Janesville anymore because it's just kind of I only made like $100. And it's like, I'll just go early anyway. Everybody goes early anyways. I'll just go early and, save the hassle of hauling all those boxes in. Let's see. Max says, Dad said he streamed. Yes. Yep. He's on eBay Live. Steve and Nick are on eBay Live. Sports card grading. They do some good shows. Pretty much the same stuff I run. We run about the same types of cards. We're battling in the same boxes. Low Roller says, Bo will be bankrupt now if he is running sports card show only. Well, it's a good thing I run a Pokemon show. Max says, yeah, I've used the same 4 and 3 row for 3 years. LOL. I reload weekly. Gem City says, guys, today I sold a 20-inch fat tube TV for $189.99 plus shipping. This is how I afford the hobby. I love it. Shane says, the amount of people that mark bargain boxers at the Dallas show is absolutely comical. Unicorn says, that's nuts. Congrats to Gem City. Max says, hilarious. I showed Dad live selling on the way home from Janesville, and the first stream on eBay was theirs. And then they said the stuff they were selling was from Janesville. Could have been from anywhere. Wild. Yeah. Yep. And isn't that magical? Like, that's so that's so magical. Like, going to a card show, buying a bunch of cards, and then going home and immediately selling those cards in real time fires me up. Jordan says, Gem City, what PSA is doing makes no sense. They raised their price during the pandemic. It didn't slow down anything. They slowed down in May, didn't raise prices. They just know they can charge more. Business 101, supply and demand. I love it. I also don't grade, so it doesn't bother me. Let's see. Awesome couple, though. Yes, they are super, super nice people. Max says, I'd erase my boxes if I saw that happening. Don't write on people's shit. Gem City says, Jordan, it's capitalism. I get what they're doing. Amen. All right. It's 10:15. I haven't even showered yet today. I got to take Ernie off to school. My next eBay Live is tomorrow night. Oh, I didn't even talk about what I bought. So I bought, I sold a lot of this stuff, but some of the stuff I was buying here, I'm just going to take a random, I think I got these out of a Chelsea Green Silver Prism. She was requested in the show last week. I was buying every Roma Dunze I could find. Last night's eBay Live was far less attended. I think I ended up with I shouldn't say far less. I ended up with 700 viewers total last night. Usually on Sundays, I'm around 900. So it was I had a few less viewers last night. I didn't have some of the crazy prices I did last Sunday, but I was selling I sold one of these for $11 and I probably paid, 75 cents for it. It was out of a $1 box. Hulk Hogan stuff was going crazy on wrestling night. So this is from the Cactus Jack set. I think that was a $1 card. Jade Cargill. That's a refractor. Tiffany Stratton color. So some of that. Roma Dunze. Drake May, which he had a great game. A big win for the Patriots. He did not sell well last night. Bought some slabs. I sold a whole row of slabs last night. I only got a few left. I got a Barry Bonds 886 tops. That I should make money on. In 8 Jordan, I should make money on that. I should make money on this. Some of the other stuff I didn't make much on. I bought Craig had he has $5 boxes, and then I get a good deal on a volume discount. At the end of the show, he's like, so I bought this. He's like, I'll just turn around and sell it to you. He's like, I haven't even really looked through it. So I went through and I'm like, yeah, he gave me a price. I'm like, yeah, that's a good deal. And there was some good stuff that sold for, I think there was a couple cards in there that sold for $15, $20 each. But there's a lot of stuff that's not, is going to be great for like my daytime 5-second fire sales where it's like, I'll just sell this for $1 and just move it quickly. So yeah, I had a good time buying, a lot of headaches. We're just going to move on now. Look forward. Saturday, October 25th is the next Madison Card Show at the Alliant Energy Center. 250 plus tables. Baseball card exchange is coming. They'll be set up. They'll be in the atrium in the premium booth area on October 25th. Sports card grading will be back this month. They had to miss last month. So looking forward to that. For vendors that have not set up at that show or did not set up last month, booking. If you were a vendor at last month's show, emails went out to rebook. I want to get those rebooked by the end of this week. I think I'm going to send out an email today, just to give it till the end of the week. And then by the middle of next week, I'll open it up to my secondary list. That's vendors that have been regulars that were not at the show that did not set up. But I've got a secondary list, and then I'm going to open up to the public. So that's how we're going to roll things out. So if you were a vendor last month, check your email, rebook your tables for October. If you did not vend and you're interested, stay tuned. I'll have that opened up on the website, MadisonCardShow.com. Oh, and speaking of that, one more thing before I go. I was talking, one of my Pokemon vendors is, he's like a very techie guy. I think he like develops websites and stuff. And he had an amazing idea. I'm not going to share the details, but it would be, if it comes to fruition, a lot of what he's doing is going to solve a lot of my pain points. It's not going to solve getting complaints, but it solves a lot of my pain points running card shows. And the idea he has is genius, and it hasn't been done. And I don't think it's ever been attempted in the card show space. So a really, really unique, cool idea that I think is very beneficial for both vendors and promoters. So we're gonna get together hopefully in the next few weeks and talk more about it. So that's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out my eBay Live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.